Hello everybody, and welcome to the second episode of How to Engie. And in this episode, we'll be going over your deathmatch or DM skill, and how to take on the enemy as engineer. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. In a fight, the engineer operates almost like a slower scout without all of the movement mechanics, but the fundamentals are all there. Before I help you to get better, I first need to drill this one simple rule into your head. Do not ever just go looking for a fight. You are a support/defense class, not an offense class. This doesn't mean that engineer can't take a good hold in a fight, it's just that there's so many other classes that can kick your ass. With that out of the way, let's talk about what people tend to do that causes their DM skills to be subpar. I think we all know about mouse sensitivity and how that affects your aim, so I won't go too much into it. But just for the people who don't know, here's a quick rundown. Mouse sensitivity is how fast you move your mouse from one part of the screen to the other. I think you could piece together how this affects your aim. Firstly, make sure raw mouse input is enabled in your settings. Now, a lower sensitivity is usually better, but for some people it can hinder you. If you tend to flick a lot more often, like I do, then try to lower your sensitivity to a point where you could move your mouse comfortably across your screen and not overshoot or undershoot your target. If you tend to track more often, and then try to raise your sensitivity to a point where you can have your crosshair on your target as often as possible. There we go. Now into actual practice and tips. I find that the best place to practice your aim is on TR Aim. Now, if the name doesn't explain it all, then I don't know, man, you've got to stop overthinking things. TR Aim is a map that spawns bots that move in a random direction. I say that because they don't actually move randomly. They do have a set path, but it's so sporadic that it's almost impossible to memorize it. This is a godsend when it comes to both styles of aiming, flicking and tracking. Also be sure to open up your console and type in SV allow point server command always. This will allow the map to spawn in the bots and set them on their path. Now join blue team and select engineer, and just wait 1 second there, partner. Don't get ahead of yourself. You did click on this video to learn, right? And watch this video first, then go blast away. This will sound really cheesy, but take it from someone who's played engineer for a total of 2.3 thousand hours. It also plays comp Engie. Stop thinking. The more you think about hitting your target, the more time it takes to shoot them. When it comes to a game like TF2, timing is everything. Take too long to take your shot, and you'll be sitting in respawn in no time. So put on some relaxing music and just clear your head. Remember, in this map, none of the bots can attack you, so just relax and work on your muscle memory. Once your music is ready, always shoot for the body, because you know that is where the most pellets will hit, as it is the most meatiest part. And spend an hour each day, or every few days, or really whenever you have time, just relaxing and building your muscle memory, and actually hitting your shots will become effortless. Now, hitting your shots isn't just everything. This is a movement shooter after all. You've got to know how to move. As I said in the beginning, engineer follows the same principles as scout, but just without all the fancy movement. This doesn't mean that you should just stand there and shoot. You've got to evade your enemy, and hopefully I can help you out with that. Step number 1, stop jumping. I see so many people jump all the time during fights and not realizing that it makes your movement predictable. Jumping while fighting an explosives class is fine, but anyone with just a normal gun, it can lose you the fight. So keep your thumbs away from the spacebar and just follow the next step. Step number 2, strafe. Strafing may sound easy, but it can be a really complex thing to pull off in a game. Strafing in a fight isn't just moving in one direction, it's randomly moving in multiple directions around your enemy. If you hold in A for 2 seconds, press D for 1 second, then press W. Just let your fingers take control and try to switch up the pattern in your movement to make the job of aiming at you much harder for the enemy. That's honestly it for the basics of movement when it comes to engineer. Sorry it was so short and might have seemed kind of obvious, but some people don't know this stuff. It could have helped. But in the next episode, we'll be going over all the different weapons at engineers' disposal, and where and when to use each one. And I also want to thank you all for 2,000 subs, 3,000 subs, and now 4,000 subs. And I guess the next special will be for 5,000 subs, so hopefully we can make it by the end of the year. Anyways, that's all for now, and I hope you enjoyed. Adios.
He's an engineer. He's building here. never run from a sentry gun. Cower in fear to wear his beautiful beard. He's got a beard.